I got internship offers from one of the UK's biggest financial institutes and a FAANG company. This resume played a key part in this process, especially so in the case of the FAANG company, where there was no online assessment and the CV was a key stage of screening used before the technical interviews. So I'm going to share with you the key parts of the resume that I think led to me getting the offer, as well as what I think you should be doing in your own resume. The first thing I include in my resume is education. So that would be the uni degree I did, key modules that I'm doing / key modules I have done and the scores I got in them, as well as my A-level results. I don't think GCSE results is something you really need to include in your time at university. If you're applying for degree apprenticeships, things prior to university, then I think it's useful. Whereas if you're already in university looking for postgraduate jobs, or you're looking for internships in your time at university, I think you can leave out your GCSE results. Be sure to stick to modules that are relevant and useful to the specific roles you're applying to. For example, if you did a finance module but you're applying to a purely technical role, then you might not need to include that. After my education section, I follow up with my recent experience. So in this case, as I was applying for this summer's internships, I include my previous summer internship that lists what I did, what team I was part of, and what key skills I might have learned whilst doing the internship. You can see that most of my bullet points detail the specific program, specific piece of code, specific architecture I made, as well as the performance improvement it provided either to the team or to the experience of using said program. A key thing I made sure to include was my experience working with people abroad. This is especially useful when you're applying to FAANG companies, as a lot of their teams are based in multiple geographical locations. With all the roles and internships and work experiences that I've had, I make sure to include my final bullet point as what are the key skills, because this is really useful when your application gets put through the ATS, the applicant tracking system. That system for most internship applications will be looking for keywords and skills that align with what they're looking for the role. As you can see from my previous internship, I included Pandas, Python, and SQL, which are all key skills for roles in data analytics, software engineering, or even infrastructure engineering. After this, I follow up with roles that I would have had as part of societies at university. So this includes being a webmaster for a cultural society. It includes being a talent development head for a data science society, which is highly relevant to any sort of machine learning AI roles. I also made sure to include that I was an undergraduate teaching assistant for a particularly relevant module in second year. Another reason to include things like this is if you're interested in research internships or research roles, or perhaps a postgraduate PhD master's course, then they'd like to see that you're involved in some sort of teaching and being able to explain concepts to others. That's a vital skill to have in research roles. My penultimate section is the project section, in which I detail key courseworks I've done, any hackathons I may have taken part in during university, as well as any projects that I've done on the side, maybe a website that I developed with a friend, or a machine learning course that I've undertaken outside of university. In the university courseworks, I'd be sure to include what mark you got or where you ranked within the overall cohort, what your team accomplished, so what the coursework itself accomplished, as well as what you were responsible for in the wider coursework. This shows that you played a vital role in the coursework, the fact that the coursework was a success and you scored highly, and that you can work in a team with a group of people with different skill sets. Finally, I include technical skills. Again, this is really useful for the ATS, where they can see what key skills you use, what frameworks you might be using, as well as what tools you use. For example, when I applied for my kernel role, I think including something like Linux Perf or including something like Intel's vTune would have been very useful, as they're commonly used in industry for system performance analysis. I hope that gives you a quick rundown of what my resume looks like and what key skills I would go about including in your future applications. As well as that, make sure to check the links in the description. I've left a link to an example resume that's kind of similar to mine and will serve as a good starting point to write your full resume on. A little note to add here, that template is in Overleaf. Overleaf, you can use it to write LaTeX documents, and I think it really helped me format my resume exactly how I wanted to. But I think LaTeX just helps you have a bit more of a polish to your resume. If you submit it as a Google Doc or a Word doc, the formatting may change as opposed to what you were expecting it to look like. So even if you are using Google Docs or Word doc, I'd highly recommend converting it to a PDF. It will make it easier for the ATS to read through, and it will make sure that whatever format that you wanted it to be in is the format that's preserved when the recruiter sees it. I hope that covered all bases in terms of what a good resume looks like, how you structure your resume to get the most desirable software engineering or tech internships. Leave a like and subscribe.